Come stop and take a trip down on my block, where you see hidden potential, young minds sharper than Ginsu, and ain't afraid to speak their mind if they got something against you. We standing with you, we tackle issues like civic pride. Hate will cease to exist, let's put our differences aside. From my side to your side, from Dutchtown to South Side, from Penrose to North Side, from Benton Park to Old North, the West End to West Side. We blessed when we step out, we stand down, rise up, stand together, wise up.
This is StitchCast Studio, produced by St. Louis Story Stitchers in St. Louis, Missouri.
This special edition episode of StitchCast Studio is for the Perception Isn't Always Reality mental health campaign, supported in part by Youthbridge Community Foundation.
They say who that, but you already knew that. That be them story stitches, story stitches, story stitches, story stitches, story stitches.
So ultimately, we are making a PSA. We have a PSA project that we're working on to destigmatize mental health. What are some of the stigmas that y'all see that should be broken from mental health?
Believe everything that your mind is telling you. For sure.
Can you elaborate?
That's something that should be broken?
Yeah.
Okay.
For sure.
Yeah.
Because the mind often lies to you.
Yeah.
Especially subconsciously, it grabs to a lot of things seen around you. It grabs onto the environment. So doing something over and over again, listening to something over and over again, you may not think twice about it, but that's becoming part of your reality. That's becoming part of your perception. And the most powerful thing that you have in life is your perception of reality. So you must allow yourself to go deep within yourself and go deep within those subconscious thoughts. And you're going to realize a lot of things that you didn't even know were there. It's like, oh, I've been doing this, or I've been saying this, or I've been acting this certain way, or these thoughts have been repeating in my mind, and I've just been on autopilot. You know, that takes a lot of self-reflection.
Mm-hmm.
I would say that mental health is not like, or what you're going through is not normal. Not being okay is totally normal, and I know that people think, oh, because that person is rich, they're privileged, or they have all of this, or being poor, it really doesn't define your mental state. Anybody can have a mental illness, and I feel like we should normalize that more so than saying, oh, my situation is bigger than yours, or that person shouldn't feel that way because, oh, she has everything.
Yes, I 100% agree. So basically, the stigma is very similar to yours, but it's basically the stigma that I would like to break is that mental health is only for certain people. Mental health is for everybody. That's literally just all it is taking care of your mind, and which everybody needs to do, whether you're okay, whether you're not depressed. Everybody has to take care of their mind. So just, I guess, bringing more awareness that mental health is for everyone. Normalize it.
I was just going to say, that's what we're hoping to do. That's exactly what we're hoping to do.
Yeah, I guess adding on to that, like, you don't have a mental illness because you deserve it. Like, it's not because you did something. It's not because anything's, like, your fault. It's not your fault, I guess, is how I should rephrase that. It's never your fault.
That's good.
I think at least one of the stigmas that I would like to see taken away is that or I guess it all really just goes back to normalizing it or whatnot. And I don't know if I could label it a stigma, but I know that a lot of people in my life either don't know or don't care. And so, yeah, I guess what I'm hoping this project does is let people know how important it is to be mentally healthy, how many of your problems would, how much the quality of life would improve if you knew more about mental health. It's still people that don't believe depression is real, like still, even now, it's 2023. And so, yeah, and granted, some of the people, especially in these rougher areas, don't exactly have the luxury of sitting down and thinking about how they feel mentally. For a lot of them, they form the shell that allows them to survive the world they're in. And so that's kind of one of the things that I struggle with. Like, I got friends that do things that I wish they ain't do, flat out. That being said, I want to tell them, like, yo, like, do you know how traumatized you are, how depressed you are, or whatnot? But I also know that he's going to go back to doing whatever he was doing, and that the tools that I'm trying to give him won't make him better at surviving these situations that he's in, you know. And so it's a real, I don't know, it's just something that I struggle with internally. Like, how do I even bring this to you? Like I know that where your mental is right now is tearing you apart. I know it's messing you up. But I also understand that awareness of depression and trauma and all of that, it's not going to help you in the situation that you're in, so to speak, the physical situation that you're in. And so, I don't know. I wonder how we reach those people.
You said earlier, right, that people think that mental health, they try to think about it too physically. You said that earlier?
Yeah.
When we think about health, we only think about physical too much. It's like, oh, my physical body's fine and everything. But if you continue to push mental health to the side, it's going to affect you physically too. Like all those depressing, anxiety-ridden thoughts are going to take a toll on you physically.
So, I agree with that 100%. The people that I'm trying to reach, I don't know that they care. You know what I'm saying? Their physical threats are more immediate. You know what I'm saying? Versus making a decision over time. That this man, I wish I could tell you his name. John A. Wright Sr., an author and St. Louis historian, who we did a podcast with, told us that high schoolers were planning their funerals. And when he said that, of course, I was like, what do you mean? Like, what he meant was that they don't expect to live long. You know what I'm saying? They don't expect to live to see 30. And so it doesn't make sense to them to have these long-term goals that they don't expect to live long enough to see. You know what I'm saying? And so I agree 100%. The issue is it's hard to get them to invest in something that you mainly see the benefits in long term, or to warn them about issues that will come in the long term if they don't expect to have a long term.
Right. If they have that idea that, you know, I'm not going to make it past this age, it's like
because of violence.
I need to do everything like right now. I need to live life right now and not really think about the future, and that can be very damaging.
Yeah.
Well, I think that just comes from us needing to heal our communities, because the reason why they're scared or don't feel like they're going to live long is because, like you said, because of the violence. But it's so much violence because it's unhealed people out here reacting off of emotions and not understanding, you know, the emotion that they're going through. So they're just being reactive rather than proactive.
I feel that. I feel that.
I agree, like, especially with what you said about the high school thing. Like, a lot of my classmates talk about, even just in passing, like, as jokes about, like, oh, I'm probably not going to live that long anyway. And so it just kind of, there's definitely the question there of, like, oh, well, how are we going to make these long-term plans if we're not going to live that long? And I think, especially what you said, too, about, like, the not caring. I go to St. Louis public schools, like I'm in a St. Louis public school, and they have like a lot of like, they're trying to push more like mental health resources for teenagers. And I think that it's not even really that effective because a lot of teenagers like are looking at it and they're not caring. Like once a month we have a counselor come in and like give a whole presentation, and the whole time everyone just wants it to be over. Like nobody really wants to sit and listen to like a counselor talk to them, because I think that there's definitely like a connection that people want to feel with someone that they're talking with. And so if there's a like grown adult coming in trying to talk to a bunch of teenagers about like their mental health, it just, I think that like the younger generation specifically is kind of seeing it a bit different, and they're looking at it as it's more like, oh, this is like an embarrassing thing that we don't need to be talking about. And so when someone tries to even reach out and help them, they're like resistant to it. So yeah, I think that's a big problem.
Yeah, you hit the nail on the head with that one. I think it's sometimes we just have to change our approach. Teens or young youth want to feel like they are relating. They want to feel connected. They want to feel like they're being understood. And if they're not, I mean, they just gonna shut you down because like you don't even know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I would 100% agree. It's all about like, I think it's putting the teen voice first. Like, I feel like, I mean, a lot of times that just doesn't happen. Like the younger person is overshadowed by their parent, a counselor, a teacher, whatever it is. And that one experience will make the trust be broken, I think. So there's rebuilding of trust that needs to happen.
I think one thing too is that adults and older people need to realize too is that if we pay attention to the youth and understand like the boundaries that they're putting on themselves, saying that, oh, I'm only going to live this long or this and that, and, you know, setting the cap for their life and setting the cap for their abilities and their skills, we need to hone in on that. And as adults, and, you know, I'm 24, I'm getting to that point. I'm getting up there. But, one thing I would say for adults is push the boundaries a little more to the point where you get them thinking more about life, get them thinking more about like, hey, you can do this. Like you can go above and beyond what you think you can do, and you can create something meaningful and worthwhile, not only for yourself, but for the generations that are coming after you. Like, and not a lot of kids are thinking about that, especially if they're only living in the present moment and not building towards that future. We need to understand that that's the inspiration. You can be an inspiration. You just have to be, I guess, relatable in a way.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's that time again. Time for another StitchCast Studio Arts Interlude. That's right, let's pick the city up. This week, we have a Story Stitches original song entitled Perception Isn't Always Reality.
Perception isn't always reality. Perception isn't always reality. Perception is dangerous when you uninformed. The climate is hostile, can't stay calm. Perception isn't always reality. Perception isn't always reality. Perception is dangerous when you uninformed. The climate is hostile, can't stay calm. If I wore a suit and tie, could I run for president? Could they prosecute me for a crime with no evidence? When you look at me, do you see any type of value? How can I think universal when I haven't traveled? Never had a passport, so my vision falls short. Only time they pump me up is when we on the ball court. But when it comes to economics, it's a disadvantage. Limited windows of opportunity, quick to vanish. I manage by myself, but need a little help. My moves are calculated, contemplate on every step. Quiet is kept, odds of living long ain't in the cards. We dying slowly every day cause the struggle is hard. What do you see? Are you dealing with reality? Is it the real thing or is it a fallacy? Because I'm in the hood, does that mean I'm from the hood? Because I dress well, does that make me all good? Perception isn't always reality. Perception isn't always reality. Perception is dangerous when you uninformed. The climate is hostile, can't stay calm. Perception isn't always reality. Perception isn't always reality. Perception is dangerous when you uninformed. The climate is hostile, can't stay calm. How did I become the leader of a million men? And if they really men, then were they meant to follow? It takes a good follower to make a better leader. We need believers, not perceivers. Race relations hollow. Broken bottles, vacant lots in my vicinity. Drugs, gang violence, and poverty stains my memory. Somehow I managed to smile, and through it all I reflect upon my past. Draw graffiti on the wall. Rest in peace, create a star, and underneath I write my autograph. This is my culture, true American artifacts. From starter jackets to pro models to BKs to Deodoras to Chuck Taylors where we stay. Get God for your J's, so many ways we behave. Like the stereotype and what we betray is a slave. Although we descendants, we must end it or stay suspended, living in a perpetual sentence of the perception. We can't make it if given the chance. When you look at the original, see greatness in hands. They danced with the devil last year, now they soul searching. As for the public opinion, they showing no mercy. Perception isn't always reality. Perception isn't always reality. Perception is dangerous when you uninformed. The climate is hostile, can't stay calm. always reality. Perception isn't always reality. Perception is dangerous when you uninformed. The climate is hostile, can't stay calm. She thought I was guilty, cause I had my hoodie on. Nope, not even once did she ever think she could be wrong. Man, he said I stole something, cause my pants was too baggy. I'm too dark skinned, the police keep getting at me. I wonder why, it's your perception, my reality. I ain't even eating good, but still I'm burning calories. Look at the difference in our infant mortality. We dying in this hood, 182 fatalities. How many look like me? Racial disparities impacted. Media bias and to make my people look so backwards. State of emergency gets distracted with Ebola, game over. My life is a purchase for stockholders, cause the rich control the market while the poor becomes the target. We struggling to live while they strolling the red carpet. Got your degree, but does that really make you smart? You a nurse or a school teacher, that don't mean you have a heart, do it? Perception isn't always reality. Perception isn't always reality. Perception is dangerous when you uninformed. The climate is hostile, can't stay calm. Perception isn't always reality. Perception isn't always reality. Perception is dangerous when you uninformed. The climate is hostile, can't stay calm.
Wow, them last couple minutes just got mad deep, didn't it? Just got mad deep, didn't it? So I think that's real. What do you suggest for, and this is for anybody on the panel, but what do y'all suggest for someone who's trying to help someone with their mental health, but the person that they're trying to help isn't ready to be helped yet?
I would say kind of what she said earlier about just letting them work through their process and have patience with them. Because I feel like for anybody, it's not something you can just rush. They could be, like they said, trying to understand what it is that they're going through, you know, so maybe it's just hard for them to kind of grasp the concept of whatever is going on, especially like something like death and grieving. You know, sometimes it's hard for people to realize that that person isn't there anymore, you know. So I think just having patience and working with them, you know, letting them get through it.
I feel that. Anybody else want to touch on it?
Yeah, so I feel like a lot of adults kind of now have taken the approach of asking like the kids kind of what they need, like because of the issues, like instead of just assuming, they're like trying to ask. And I feel like that isn't that effective either, because a lot of times I know like we don't really know what we need. So I think even just like taking the time to like get to know the people you're trying to help, even if they're not ready for help yet, just like take that time to get to know them and just like have like literally just kind of build that trust up. Because if you're not trusting someone, you're not going to talk to them like about your mental health, and you're not going to know what you need unless you like really think about it. Like, because just asking someone on the spot, what do you need to help your mental health, like they're kids, you know, they don't know that. So I think it's like the professionals need to be able to like talk with kids and get to know the individual people that they're trying to help, and eventually they can form like a plan based on that and just keep trying until they find something that works.
Yeah, I think just showing up, even in like personal space, not the professional space, but just like the person who's struggling with something, who's struggling mentally, maybe just go bring them breakfast or cook a meal for them, or, you know, like bring something over. I think what you said earlier about messages, I think those are messages. Like actions can be messages, and they might not be ready to address what they're going through yet, but that doesn't mean you can't still be there for them in different ways.
Wow. And I've never really thought of it that way. You know, I just kind of settled on that notion that you can't help somebody that doesn't want to be helped. But yeah, I think you're right. And also sometimes you can help somebody by stepping back or whatnot, you know, and also realizing that it's not about you. And that's not to say that you go in thinking that it's about you, but when someone reacts adversely to you trying to help them or whatnot, understand that it's not about you. You know what I'm saying? Like the reaction that they're giving you isn't because they hate you or whatever the case is, but it's because of what they have going on, not particularly what you have going on. 100%. Before we close out, we did actually want to open the floor for if the audience had any questions.
I do
Any additional
actually
questions?
have one.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Like, what are common signals that we overlook that show that people are dealing with depression or mental health issues? Because I feel like sometimes we don't know until it's too late, you know? So, like, what are some of those signals that most people overlook?
One thing I can say is that I used to have a friend that we make plans all the time. You know, we would hang out as a group, and he was going through depression. And one of the biggest things that we started to see was we make plans, and right before plans come up, he's always pulling out. He's always saying, like, you know what, I'm gonna stay in. I don't want to go out and anything. And sooner or later, we found out that he was dealing with anxiety. He was dealing with depression. And ever since then, like, anytime he pulls out, like, I just make sure he's all right. I ask him, I'm like, yo, is everything good? Anything come up? Like, how's your mental health? How's everything? He's like, I'm just checking up on you. And like, sometimes like he'll be going through it. Sometimes it's just like something came up. But it's always good to open that door for somebody and be like, hey, like, I'm here if you need it. Like, I understand that you can't make it out tonight, but anything that you need, I'm here for that. And one thing that you guys touched on earlier, it's like grieving at a funeral. It's like sometimes it's not the right thing to say, like, everything is going to be all right, because obviously if somebody is like real close to them that just passed away, they don't want to hear that. Just open that door and be like, hey, anything, I'm here for you. And I promise you, they're not going to forget about that.
Yes, that's a good sign. And I would say someone who's always sleeping, someone that's not taking care of themselves, someone who is losing interest in things, you know, they once loved, someone that could not be sleeping. You could be sleeping a lot. You could be, I think it's those extremes, you know. And then if they're very irritable, just you're seeing them going from one extreme to the next, and you just know that they're not themselves. I would say they're most likely going through something.
I think sometimes big unprompted decisions are also, just like be aware of them sometimes, depending on what they are. You can be like, oh, I mean, that was unexpected, or something like that.
I honestly think that, my mentality is totally different with just everybody going through things. So if I know this person for a long time, it's hard to know a person in like a day and say, okay, you're going through this. Like, you have to know this person and know what behavior has changed. So once the behavior changed, whatever that may be, maybe they always used to laugh, now they not. That's the easiest one right there. But it's just like change behavior. You notice change behavior. Then you question, like, why you don't do that no more? Why you don't do that no more? Then that's when they'll open up and say, well, you know, it's this and this and it's this and this. And then you have to listen to what they are saying and not just brush it off, you know. Like, that they said something there that you can key in on, but some, you know, the person listening has to be a listener in order to catch that.
I also feel like I want to bring up, the person could not be changing their behavior at all. It could all be internal. And I think just checking in on the people you care about whenever is good and can help. Going back to that, like, messaging, like telling people you love them. You never know if they don't hear that often. Yeah. I think it's important for anyone, not even just people that you notice behavior changes in.
I kind of want to touch on that, especially with the extremes, and then the fact that sometimes you might not be able to tell, because some people can hide it well. Like me personally, I can hide it well. I can be so happy. Like, I'm always laughing, I'm always smiling, I'm always being happy. But sometimes I feel like I want people to check up on me. So I feel like you should always check on the people around you as much as you can, because sometimes you can't tell.
And I want to amplify one of the points you made, and that was also checking in on the people that always seem to be happy or that's always smiling. Because you look at the smile or whatnot, and you think like, oh, that person don't need to be checked in on. That person is fine. Or at least when you see somebody always giggly or smiling or laughing or whatever, you just kind of assume that nothing's wrong. or whatnot, and therefore don't feel the need to check in on them. But that's absolutely right. And even that person that always seem to know what to say, or that person that everybody else go to for their problems, like, that person need to get checked on too. I ain't gonna say they need to get checked on more than anybody else that I don't like, you know,
but they're usually the ones that's most overlooked.
Right,
Yeah.
right, yes.
Kind of goes back to the humor as a shield question.
Yeah, definitely. And actually, since we've looped around to that question, I think that some people do kind of use it as a humor, as a trauma response, or as a shield in the respect of putting a, for lack of a better word, comedic spin on it. Kind of allows you to not have to deal with the serious effects that said thing has. I think that's one of the biggest ways that people use trauma as a shield. Now, you do have comedians who turn their pain into comedy after they've dealt with it, after they've processed it, you know what I'm saying? And that's a different thing. It's possible to interweave, you know, humor into a traumatic situation without using it as a shield. But in terms of specifically using it as a shield, it's usually when you're trying to put a spin on it that allows you to look at the situation without having to deal with the pain or whatever it caused, and analyzing why it did that and how you can properly move past it.
I guess so. You're saying there's a difference between using it as a shield and using it as a coping mechanism.
Well, I think the people that use it as a shield are using it as a coping mechanism as well, but doing so in an unhealthy way. Sometimes it's a thin line between healthy and unhealthy coping mechanisms, and sometimes it's not even the coping mechanism itself, but how you're using it that makes it unhealthy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, like, I know you're a gamer and you also a dancer. So, using dance as a way to not deal with your problems versus using it as a way to deal with your problems. You know what I'm saying? And it's only like one word or two that's different in the sentences, but one looks like interpret. I don't want to say that you have to interweave your trauma into your art, but I think that that's one of the signs of using your art to process your trauma versus and you also a writer. So the way that you'll write a song expressing how you feel about something that just happened versus somebody writing a song so that they don't have to deal with what just happened.
Gotcha.
Speaking from experience, that using humor as a shield and seeing other people using humor as a shield, one thing that I used to do, even if it was a serious topic, you know, I will always try to, you know, throw in the joke and everything, keep it that way, you know, keep me in my comfort zone, because I know my comfort zone is, okay, I'm a funny dude, I find ways to make everything funny, so let me keep it that way, because if things get too serious, I know I'm not going to want to talk about that. I know I'm not going to want to go down that road, and I've seen that with other people. One thing I recommend for a lot of people, and I wish I had this too, is that have friends and also be that friend that is more specific in their questions. It's like anybody can say, yo, how are you? Good seeing you and everything, but be more specific with that. How are you? Like, how are you? How's your health? How's your family? How's everything going in your life? It's like, I want to hear more from that person. Put them in the position to be like, okay, he wants me to share more. Let me be honest. Don't push them, obviously, but put them in the position where they can be safe.
And make them feel that you really care. You're not just asking the general, how are you? You know, just letting them know that you really do care about how they feel.
Exactly. Don't go through the motions. Just be like, hey, like earlier, like I said, through those actions, through those questions, you're letting them know, like, I'm here for you. I'm here to talk about whatever. I'm letting you know, like, I'm willing to be as vulnerable as you're willing to be. And that's very, very important. We need friends like that. And we need to be that friend too as well.
Most def. And I think one of the most important things you said was not going through the motions. Because if we gonna be all the way honest, when people say how you doing or how are you, they really not expecting no full drawn out. You know what I'm saying? If we're gonna be all the way honest about it, and maybe people should be more specific or whatnot, but most people ask the question to be polite. You know what I'm saying? So I think you're right. Not
How
just
you
going
doing
through the
became a
motions.
greeting. That's
Yeah,
like
you
a
feel me?
greeting now. Yeah.
Exactly
Yeah.
right. It's not a oh, I actually want to hear about what's wrong with you.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? And so yeah. So yeah, I think word choice is important, and just making sure that you cur. You know, I feel like if you genuinely cur, it'll come out in the way that you're talking.
And follow-up questions is also really good.
Absolutely. 100%. And also, I think it's important to recognize that, yes, offer your help. But if someone says, I don't want it or I don't need it right now, I feel like you should respect that person's boundaries as well. You know what I'm saying? I think reaching out means, like, even if somebody doesn't accept your help, usually you reaching out still meant something. You know, it's still, they're still happy that you reached out. They're still happy that they have somebody that's going to check in. I saw you grab the mic. Was you trying to say something? Why was you just grabbing the mic?
Yeah, I got a question. I asked since Brandon putting me on the spot. All right, so I do want to know, just from the outside looking in your field, it seems like a lot of taking on a lot of other people's problems, which I feel can get kind of, it can wear on you. So do you get worn out, so to speak, in the workplace, and like, how do you deal with that?
Well, I'll say my mom is a licensed therapist, so I grew up in a household where I've watched her basically be like a superhero for everybody for a long time. And what I'll say is that even though she may get worn out sometimes, she has always loved what she does. Like, she's passionate about it. So it don't matter. Like, she gonna pick up that phone. Like, she really has a passion for helping people. So no matter if it may wear her out sometimes, like, she is honored to do what she does. So I just say go in the right field, I guess.
Felt.
Yeah.
And I think it's important to acknowledge that, you gonna get worn out because you're a person. You know what I'm saying, too, regardless of, I love music. I love it. It's everything to me. But it's definitely times where I'm like, bro, like, I don't fake it. When the music ain't going how I want it to, I cuss a lot.
Yeah.
Bro, I do be growling. Bro, you ain't have to say that.
Growling?
Yeah, it ain't like no roar. It ain't like that. You know what I'm saying? Nah, you know what I'm saying? Just like if something like, if it's something tedious, like, you try to log in like 5 times and it's still saying it's on, you like, "Arr."
I don't know about that, but okay.
You could scream it out in screamo music.
DMX. Bro sounds like DMX.
I'm saying he could do it. Why can't
No.
But yeah, I think it's important to acknowledge that everybody has limits, and that, like, similar to what you said earlier, if you gonna take on somebody's problems like that and pour out, it's important to have people in your life that are pouring back into you.
Yes.
Because you can't fill nothing with an empty reservoir. And so, yeah, you know what I'm saying? I think you got to know yourself and know, you know what I'm saying? It's up to you to know when you get into your limits or whatever, and what things help you to not reach said limits, It's a reason they give people a vacation every year.
Yeah.
Or sick days or whatever the case is, you know what I'm saying? Because you need that.
100%. I'm gonna piggyback off what you said really quickly. I think the number one thing is making sure that you take care of yourself first, so you can help other people or others, because that's something I tell my mom all the time. Please take care of yourself first, and then take care of everybody else. Sorry.
So first of all, I want to thank everybody coming out and being vulnerable. It's uncomfortable to speak face to face, but on a mic, on a podcast, kudos to everybody, for real. And my question, real quick, one thing that we've done the last 2 times that we've met as a group is go around the room and check everybody's, mental health. How's everybody feeling mentally today? So I wanted to ask every single one of us, how are we feeling mentally today?
I feel like it's only right that you started. Yeah.
All right. Honestly, I'm feeling ecstatic because I've always wanted to do something like this. I mean, I don't know if y'all could tell, but I've been talking a lot today because because honestly, like, I don't have much of a group to speak a lot, especially on topics that, you know, I love topics like this. I love it so much, and it only inspired me to make my own podcast at home. So I feel ecstatic. I feel inspired. Every single one of you guys have inspired me today to put my voice out there and invite other people to do the same and be selfless, be a man that serves the community, not just himself. And my voice is very, very powerful, and I've learned that. And I appreciate you guys for giving me the opportunity to do that. So that's how I'm feeling.
Oh yeah, we snap after sharing. Sorry. I'm okay. I'm not gonna lie. I'm actually okay. I haven't been okay all week, all month, all year, but as of now, I'm okay. I'm way more aware of myself mentally than I was at this time last year. Even on January 1st of this year, I'm way more aware than I was. So I'm appreciative for that, and I appreciate all of y'all, because every time I come here, y'all make sure I leave with a smile on my face, or at least smile while I'm here. That's for all the story stitchers, not the people that not usually here, but yeah. So.
Why you have to?
Like, let me specify.
He kind of took my word. I was going to say inspired, but I would say grateful, because like he said, I'm glad I could speak and be in a room with people who are just as passionate about a topic as I am. You know, just voicing my opinions and my ideas. I'm working on that. So this was a great opportunity to get better.
Felt.
I'm just the engineer. I ain't got to go right. Yes. But yeah, I feel good. I think I'm in a good space. The last few times that we've been meeting, you know, been saying I've been feeling good, so I'm still carrying it on. You know, been to a couple art museums in the last month, and yeah, just feeling real creative and refreshed. And I say it's some real good energy in the room, and I'm just reciprocating it. You know what I'm saying?
Felt it's true.
Hi. I've been doing good, bad, ugly, great, inspired, creative, all of it. And sometimes it be, you know, like I said earlier, I've been starting my day with just like, hey, you finna kill it today. Whatever you do, you gonna kill it. You gonna do your thing. And I just been keeping that mindset a lot, speaking it to my kids a lot. So I'm feeling great because I took a big transition into my career. So that part there is the hardest, trying to stay here. Because everything I do now is for my own work. I have to work for what I do. I can't lollygag. I got young adults looking at me, you know, waiting for me to, you know, see what I do wrong. They're going to probably do wrong. You know, I got to do right. So everything is a lot of responsibilities on my hands. But I'm willing to do it, you know, do the work. That's all I'm doing. So,
Felt.
How y'all doing?
Hello.
I'm doing pretty good now. I'm feeling pretty encouraged being here, so thank y'all for that. I made a mistake with a coworker at work today, and I've been kind of beating myself up over not engaging with her the right way. So now I feel a little bit better. So thank y'all.
Good.
Fire and fix it. Fix the mistake.
Yeah.
It happens. Y'all can hear me?
Yeah.
All right. But now I want to thank everybody for coming out. I personally really appreciate y'all and y'all time and what is being said. I'm feeling pretty good. I'm in a dance mood. I'm gonna leave and go dance. So yeah, I'm just really good right now. I'm gonna release using my craft and stuff.
Right.
But yeah, I want everybody to always remember everything happens for a reason. No matter if you know the reason, just know it happened. Do better. Drink water.
I feel great mentally. So yeah.
That's what's up.
That's all I gotta say. So we can move
all
on.
that for like a 3-word answer.
Yeah,
You feel me?
to
Right.
speed it up.
I just feel like it should have been more after all
It should have been like, hey, y'all want a whole book?
Nah.
I'm honestly in a great space. And was that the only question? I forgot.
How are you doing mentally?
yeah, I'm doing great mentally. And I will say, hopefully y'all invite me back, because I feel like I have a story that I could probably share with you all about my mental health journey. But I'm in a great space, and I really worked really hard to get here. So,
Fire.
Thank you for inviting me as well. I love it. I will say when I first came in, I was really nervous. I've never been on a podcast before. I'm also like my second year in my professional career. So
okay.
You know, I'm still learning.
You got it.
But I think you guys really made me feel super comfortable and really excited to have a conversation like this. I don't think it happens very often. So I was feeling nervous, and now I'm feeling better.
Fire.
Welcome.
Fire.
At the moment, I don't want to make it a sad mood, but I've been kind of at my breaking point for the past month or so, and I've been trying to get myself out of it. But I feel like being here, kind of helps. I like being around the good energy, getting my laughs in, but yeah, it's been a little tough recently.
Yeah.
Well,
and it's okay for you to be in that space, you know. And we all here to help you. If you want to talk about it, if you want to vent right now, we got encouraging words for you, and know that it will get better. It's just a process.
For sure, 100%, 100%, my boy.
Oh, you about to make
it's
me
all
cry.
good.
Yeah.
It's all good, bro. It's all good.
Me personally, I don't know. You know how sometimes, some days you like get into like a mood and you don't know like why you in that mood. I feel like I've been working through it though. So like I feel like mentally I'm in a good space, but I do feel like it was an energy that was trying to make me not be in such a good mood. And I think me personally, I started realizing that with the way I was treating people around me. You know what I'm saying? Like maybe being a little too snappy or something, and just trying to just reevaluate, like it's no reason for me to even be doing this. So like what's going on type thing. And just getting back to that space where I'm like, I'm good. It's going to be a good day. Like there's nothing that's going to hold me back. And it's been a good day. So I'm here.
Fire.
Today I'm doing good. Today's been good. That's really all I've got. Like I don't have any but today's been good.
Dope. So I'm in a pretty good place mentally right now, which is interesting because it didn't stay that way consistently over the last 48 hours or so. I done felt several different emotions, but I'm kind of in a place where I'm now able to, I don't want to say for sure that I seek out uncomfortable situations, but that I understand that things like pressure and a lack of comfort are necessary for growth. And I'm now in a place mentally where I could sit there with that pressure or that lack of comfort and analyze the situation versus trying to run from the pressure or the lack of comfort or whatever the case is. And also that recently I was told by somebody very captivating and convincing that I wasn't something that I knew with every fiber of my being that I was. And so I felt really conflicted for a minute. But even sitting here now, I kind of realized that they don't have the authority to decide that for me, whether or not I'm that thing, and I know I'm that thing. And so why do I care? If you think I'm that thing or not, And so I am kind of mentally proud of myself for standing my ground and recognizing an increased sense of mental fortitude, which I think is needed to get to where I'm trying to go. I think you have to be mentally strong, mentally tough, and that it should take more than somebody telling you that you're not something that you know you are to deter you from what you're trying to do or where you're trying to go. And so all in all, I would say I'm in a good space.
That's real.
Right. All right, everybody under the sound of my voice, I want to thank y'all so much for tuning in. It's been a very insightful conversation that we've had. Thank everybody for being a part of it. Everybody that decided to get vulnerable or, talk about things that you maybe in another situation wouldn't have been comfortable talking about. Thank you for your vulnerability, and know that you haven't been judged and that you are accepted right along with us. We want to thank y'all so much for coming out. You know what I'm saying? Even though you ain't growl for me, but it's cool. We want to thank y'all so much for coming out and spending time with us. And yes, you are absolutely invited back. Both of you. Yes. We'd absolutely love to have you back.
Cool.
And yes, that being said, before we officially close out, is there anything that either of you feel like should be said that hasn't been said yet? Oh, okay. She steps from behind the curtain. Take that. We have Missy, stop. We have so many hands.
I have one.
The dramatic pose.
I've been sitting over here by this picture of our friend TJ, who also suffered from sadness and different mental health issues, who we lost. And this is his space that we named for him. And I feel him so much loving all of you for honoring him in this way. And I know he's looking down on you, right here with you, and loving you. All of you. And that just makes me feel really good. So thank you. So I had a good day.
Yes. That was
Fire.
good. Thank you, Missy.
That being said, everybody under the sound of my voice, I want to thank you for tuning in to yet another episode of StitchCast Studio. We hope that you found this insightful, enlightening, that you maybe learned something that you didn't know when you press play and listen to this story circle. That being said, if you're in between the ages of 16 and 24, and you want to know how you can become a part of our StitchCast family or become a part of Story Stitchers in general, if you want to know how you can help us do what we do, if you want to know where our next performance is going to be, we encourage you to go to storystitchers.org. That being said, we want to thank y'all for listening, and we out.
Thank y'all.
Story Stitchers is supported in part by the Lewis Prize for Music 2021 Accelerator Award. The mission of the Lewis Prize is to partner with leaders who create positive change by investing in young people through music. Additional support for StitchCast Studio and Story Stitchers programs is provided by Missouri Department of Economic Development Youth Opportunities Program, the Arts and Education Council, and powered by Amarin Corp and Tegna Foundation. St. Louis Story Stitcher Studio, the center is supported in part by Kranzberg Arts Foundation as a resident organization. Thank you for listening.
They say who that, but you already knew that. That be them story stitches, story stitches, story stitches, story stitches, story stitches.
This special edition episode of StitchCast Studio is for the Perception Isn't Always Reality mental health campaign, supported in part by Youthbridge Community Foundation.